Hey everyone, looks like we're live. We'll see if we get a few folks tuning in here. So this week's drum challenge is going to be a little different. I ended up being out of town right now, so I don't have my set with me. I've got my practice pad, so we're going to do a little bit of a practice pad challenge. You should be able to find the exercises linked in the video. You should be able to see that link. It should take you to a PDF. Just like last week, we've got a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced groove. So what we're going to do is just kind of go over those. Honestly, I just wrote them. Haven't had a whole lot of time to practice them, so hopefully they go okay. I'm also realizing I always use my metronome on my phone, and I'm recording with my phone, so I may have to do these without it, which shouldn't be too big of a deal just for introducing it. But I do absolutely value using a metronome for your practicing. All right. So, by the way, you might hear a storm in the background. The Wi-Fi here actually just cut out, so I'm just going off my cell service. If you hear any loud or large crashes, it's probably the thunder going on outside. All right, so let's get into it here. I'm gonna set this up so we get a little better view. Okay. Should be able to see the practice pad. By the way, this practice pad is incredible. Look how small this thing is. It really challenges me to get my strokes right in the center. Carry over to a drum set is actually pretty cool. I've noticed that my hitting the rims of the drums has significantly decreased. It can be pretty frustrating at times practicing with this. If I'm not paying close attention, I may actually miss the thing entirely. Hopefully we don't do too much of that tonight. All right. So I hope we can all see the pad okay. All right. So I've actually written 2 beginner beats. If you click into that PDF, they'll be the first 2 in there. I've also put the sticking patterns, if there are some of you who can't read sheet music or are new to reading it, you should be able to figure out pretty easily with the sticking. Once again, I don't have my a good metronome solution right now, so I'm just going to count these out. They're all in 4/4, so nothing too tricky. So here's the first one. It's basically, we're just going 1/8 notes in the first measure, and then we're going to 16th notes in the second measure. And I've set it to repeat, so you're just practicing going from 1/8 notes to 16th notes. I am a firm believer in alternating your sticking patterns, so practice it right, left for a while. Once that gets more comfortable, then let's practice a few times where you start with your left, right, etc. Okay, so here we go. It's just counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are your 1/8 notes, and then you go into the second measure for your 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. For those of you beginners that aren't used to counting these, you're going to count your 1/8 notes as 1 and 2 and. You're going to count your 16th notes as 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So I'll show these again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And it just loops. make sure you keep your wrists nice and relaxed. Okay, so that's the first beginner exercise. I was starting with my right hand on all those, so once that gets more comfortable, practice a few where you start with your left. 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. All right. We're going to move on to the second beginner exercise here. These are going to be a little trickier, especially if you're not used to counting your groups of 3. So we're doing triplets here. Each beat for the first measure is going to have 3 hits to it, and then on the second measure you're going to have 6 hits to each beat. Let me just show it to you. So we're still counting in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, each beat is going to have multiples of 3. So let's show the first measure here. It's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to go into the second measure. We're just doubling that. 1. Oh, I was counting and playing at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can still count that the same way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a good way I think of this one too, if you're getting a little mixed up on your hands, you can just count when you go from the normal triplets to the 16th note triplets. Just count what your right hand is doing. So if you started with your right hand, 2 and 3 and 4 and for the 16th notes, your right hand does the same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so you're doing this, and then you just add in the left hand, counting the same way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I hope that makes sense. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again, that right hand is just doing the triplet notes. And of course, once you master that, starting with your right hand, we're going to do some where you start with your left hand. It's the exact same pattern, we're just starting with the left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. Let's get into something a little harder. Here is our intermediate challenge. Again, if you've just tuned in, I've got the sheet music to these exercises linked to the video. So you should be able to click that, and it should take you to a PDF with all of these. There's 2 beginner exercises, so if you're looking for the intermediate one, it's going to be the 3rd page in there. The first 2 pages are the beginner ones, 3rd page is intermediate. And I'm actually going to see, I won't take too long here, I'm going to see if I can get a clip going. Sorry, just give me 1 second, seeing if I can get, I'd like to have a click if I can here. If not, we're just gonna wing it. Ah, here we go. I don't know if you can hear that too well. Okay, I've got the BPM set at 60. I think that's a good place to start with these. Okay, so this is the intermediate pattern. It is more challenging, as it should be if we're going from beginner to intermediate, right? I'm by no means perfect at this one. I mean, this one is one you could practice for a lifetime. We're going basically, we're starting with eighth notes, then triplets, then sixteenths, then we go to groups of 5, then groups of 6, then 7s, and then 32nd notes. So basically each measure you're adding a beat value to, I can't even talk tonight. Anyway, look at the sheet music, it might make a little more sense. So let's just do this thing, and I'll just count it and talk as well as I can. It's a little hard to do both at the same time. 2, 3. So we start 1, 2, 3, 4, on to triplets, on to sixteenths. Again, trying to talk while I do it. Groups of 5. Okay, I'm just not going to talk while I do it. I'm just confusing myself, trying to do both at the same time. So again, we're going from eighth notes to triplets to sixteenths to groups of 5, groups of 6, groups of 7, and then 32nd notes. Once again, I'm no master at this. I messed up those groups of 7. 3, 4. Again, I need to practice this one more myself. So I'm going to start with the groups of 6 and then try to take it to the 7s. Okay, so I did it there. Went from the 7s onto the 32nd notes there. Okay, so I'm going to try it again from the top one more time, and then again, if I don't get it perfect, I'm just going to move on. I just wrote these earlier today. I'm still going to be practicing these this week. That's why it's a challenge, right? All right. So here we go from the top. Okay, not too bad. And now let's move on to that advanced one. Again, I'll say it again. If you're just tuning in, the PDF is linked to the video. There's 2 beginner exercises, an intermediate, and then finally an advanced. So the advanced should be on the 4th page of that PDF. There's a lot going on here. I've practiced it some. I've gotten it down a couple times. No guarantees for what's about to happen when I do it now. I'm going to play it starting with the right hand. I haven't yet really got it down. Not that I even have it down that way yet. I'm much worse even starting with the left right now. So just for demonstration, I'm just gonna start it with the right for now. In a few days after I practice it some, I'll likely upload again at a little higher tempo and with the left sticking pattern as well. Okay, again, there's no real good way to explain this one unless you just pull up the sheet music and look at it. I've got a similar thing where we're going from the eighth notes, triplets, to 16ths, group of 5, group of 6, group of 7. It starts there, and then it just goes into some other things with some accents and different stickings on, we're throwing some paradiddles and some rolls. Also, I write all these in Guitar Pro, so I'm not really sure how to write it correctly as a drum roll. I'm still learning that. And if there's a better notation software out there that any of y'all use, please let me know, because that'd be awesome. I don't think Guitar Pro is fully designed for writing drum notation. Anyways, let's do this thing. Okay. Already messed up. So I'm starting from the third measure here. Starting back on that third measure. Like I said, I'm not going to get it perfect. Just going to try this a couple times and then it's going to be practice time. All right, let's start it from the top. Like I said, nobody's perfect here. I'm going to start from that third measure. I'll try this a couple times and then I'll start working on my own. Again. Okay, and I stopped right before that last measure, so I'm just going to tackle that one. Okay, I'll tell you what. I promise I did practice this a few times. But I know it's no fun to watch someone just fumble around for a while. So again, I'm just going to be practicing on this for the next few days. Feel free to find those exercises yourself on that PDF off the video. Check out this pad if you want. See how tiny that thing is? Anyways, I hope y'all have a good one. I'm going to be practicing this thing, and I'll upload again here in a couple days when I've actually got it down. Hope y'all have a great week. Have fun practicing this thing. Stay safe out there. And yeah, let's all just keep drumming. Brandon, hey, nice to see you. Let me see if I got any other comments. I didn't see any others. I'm still learning this Facebook Live thing, by the way, so I think it'll get a little better each time. Like this week, I figured out I can actually make my video actually correct and not a mirrored image. Last week, my shirt was reading backwards because I didn't yet know how to do that. So we'll get there. We're all learning together. Okay. Well, y'all have a good evening. I'm going to get off here. Everyone stay safe, be practicing, upload yourselves playing these challenges. I'm sure you can get them a lot better than me. because I was not doing too well just now, was I? But that's all right. Again, that's why it's a challenge. All right, y'all take care.